Welcome back, students. I hope you're doing good. So today we're back with another video. Actually, it's going to be a playlist from now on, which is related to the field of semantics. What we're going to try to do is we're going to upload a lot of videos that are related to the field of semantics, just like we did with the playlist of sociolinguistics or psycholinguistics. This time it's going to be about semantics. And if a lot of you out there are interested in semantics, you might also be interested in semiotics. And also, if you'd like me to, I will also talk about didactics, the theories that are related to the field, and also pragmatics. So just let me know in the comments below if you'd like me to explore those fields as well. So in today's video, we're going to talk about semantics. We're going to try to introduce the field for those of you who are not familiar with it, or for those of you who want to deepen their knowledge about the field as well. Anyways, like usual, I invite you to like the Facebook page of this channel in order to be notified whenever I post something new, and also subscribe to my channel if it's not already done. That would encourage me to do more and help you out during the period of exams. With that being said, we shall start with semantics. What do we mean by semantics? Semantics, if you want, can be defined as the study of meaning communicated through language. This is really important. You have to say through language. You'll see why. So the focus here is on understanding how language is used to convey meaning, right? Or meanings in general. It is a central aspect of linguistics. In this video, like I said, we're going to introduce, or if you want to call it, set the stage for exploring the theory and practice of semantics within the context of modern linguistics. Not just language, but modern linguistics. This implies that we will delve into various aspects of how language conveys meaning and how these meanings are interpreted, and in the theories that practices or practices that have been developed to understand and analyze this process. This is a foundational concept in linguistics. You should know that the study of meaning is crucial for understanding how languages function and how communication occurs. And semantics takes part in a wide range of topics, from the meaning of or the meanings of individual words and phrases to the way context affects how we interpret language. Okay? When I'm talking about context here is related to the way it affects how we interpret language. Okay? So as we progress through this video, you will learn hopefully about the different aspects of semantics, including how meanings are constructed and how they can vary in different contexts. Okay, we're not studying the context. Here we're just taking into consideration different contexts and how speakers of a language understand and use this meaning in communication. Just to highlight the difference, I'm going to talk about the difference between semantics and semiotics, okay? In this point, we're going to highlight the basic task of semantics, which is showing how people communicate meanings using language, right? However, it emphasizes that this is only a part of a larger undertaking of understanding how people comprehend meaning, which means it is not the only way to understand meaning. Because as you know, linguistic meaning is described as a special subset of the general human ability to use signs. This is illustrated, if you want, with some examples. I can give you some. If you hear the sound of thunder, this means a storm is coming. So in this instance, the sound of thunder is a natural sign indicating an impending weather change, specifically a storm. So this example, in other words, it infers meaning from a natural phenomenon. Okay, so you hear thunder, you think that a storm is coming. Another example, if you want, a green light, right? So in traffic signals, where when you're driving a car, a green light is an arbitrary symbol. Okay, there's nothing that used to say green is related to the signal of go or safe to proceed. So it's just arbitrary. People, um, have universally assigned the meaning of go or safe to proceed to a green light. Okay? So if you want to call it socially agreed upon sign in a public context, just to put it in the academic way or the academic words. So as you see, each of these examples, it shows different ways in which meanings can be communicated and interpreted outside of direct linguistic expression. This means to understand something or to understand a meaning, whatever the meaning, it can be understood not only through direct communication, which means words, saying words or uttering words. It can also be understood from signs. I mean, when you just like we said, a green light, it means something. So when you see green, you understand the meaning that it is safe for you to proceed or to go, to drive, right? So this demonstrates the broader scope of semiotics in understanding signs and symbols in our environment. Okay, so the focus is on how semantics, which is a study of meaning in language, is part of a broader field of semiotics. Okay, this is a difference between the two. This semiotics is concerned with the study of signs and symbols in general, and it also, or semiotics is also not just, it doesn't deal only with languages, but all kinds of sign systems that humans use to communicate. Okay? So that's the first point. The second point, we're going to talk about 3 challenges when you are studying or practicing semantics. Okay? So we can start by discussing an intuitive but simplistic theory of semantics, which it terms the definition or the definitions theory. Okay, this theory proposes that the meaning of words can be understood simply by defining them. However, this approach, as you all know, quickly encounters several challenges. The first challenge is what we call circularity. Okay, so this means that when we try to define words, we often end up using other words, which themselves need definition. So this creates a circular problem where the meaning of one word is dependent on another. So it leads to an endless loop of definitions. For example, if we try to define happiness as a state of being joyful or content, we then need to define joyful and content, which could lead us back to the word of happiness. Okay, so that's the first challenge. Second challenge is what we call the linguistic versus general knowledge. So in order to determine the boundary between what is part of a language or a language's semantics and what is general language about the world is a challenge. For instance, the word whale. Okay, so the whale refers to a large marine mammal, but how much about whales does one need to know to understand the word? Okay, is it enough to know it's a sea creature, or do we also need to know specific biological details? Okay, that's the first challenge. The second challenge, sorry. The third challenge is what we call the contextual influence. You should know that the meaning of words and sentences can change based on the context in which they are used. For example, the phrase "it's cold" can have different implications depending on whether it's said indoors or outdoors, in a desert or at the pools. This shows that understanding semantics isn't just about knowing dictionary definition, it's also about understanding how context shapes meaning. So these are challenges. These are the flaws of semantics, if you want to call them that way. Okay? How do we face the challenges? This is our third point. So these challenges illustrate that semantics is more complex than just attaching definitions to words. In our video, we're going to aim to demonstrate how various semantic theories address these issues, offering a more nuanced and comprehensive understanding of how meaning is constructed and interpreted in language. Okay? So a simple approach of defining words to understand their meaning is inadequate, if we can call it that way, due to the challenges previously mentioned. Okay? Circularity, the overlap between linguistic and general knowledge, and the influence of context on meaning. It suggests that a more sophisticated approach to semantic analysis is needed. The sheer number of possible situations and interpretation makes it impractical to include all relevant information in word definition. This realization leads to this kind of understanding that semantics must go beyond just attaching definition to words. Okay? It involves considering how context affects meaning, the interplay between different types of knowledge, and also avoiding circular explanations. Okay? Have developed various strategies to address these complexities. These strategies aim to provide a more robust or nuanced understanding of how meaning is constructed and interpreted in language in general. And this gives us some insight into the different approaches and theories that have been proposed in the field of semantics. We're going to deal with all this later on in the upcoming videos. We're going to move to the fourth point, which is semantics in a model of grammar. You should know that in linguistic studies, we often regard semantics as a key component of grammar, just like syntax or phonology. Imagine grammar as a machine with different parts, just like syntax is the gears that arrange words, and phonology is the part that deals with sounds. Semantics is like the section that interprets meaning. So if you need sounds, you're gonna need phonology. Okay, if you need words, the arrangement of words, you're gonna need syntax. But if you're dealing with meaning, you're gonna need semantics. Actually, there is a debate in the linguistic community about whether semantics should stand alone or be integrated with other aspects of language. For instance, changing a single sound or word order in a sentence can alter its meaning. This means that all parts of language are interconnected in creating meaning. Okay? I mean, if I remember well, some theories like cognitive grammar proposed by Ronald Langaker argue against seeing language components as completely separate. They believe that you can't entirely split linguistic elements like syntax or phonology from our broader understanding of the world. You have to keep them together. Okay? On the other hand, you have many linguists who still find it practical to treat language components like pronunciation, grammar rules, and meaning as distinct areas in plural. This helps, according to these linguists, of course, it helps organizing our understanding of language, but we should remember that these parts work together to convey meanings and ideas. If you take, for example, the word run, I run a marathon, and another sentence, my nose is running, it shows how semantics works closely with syntax and context to give different meanings to the same word. Okay? The last point we're going to discuss in today's video is word meaning and sentence meaning. In the realm of semantics, understanding words involves a mental lexicon, which is akin to a dictionary in our minds. Okay, it's like you have a dictionary in your mind. It's a dynamic repository where new words are added and unused words are forgotten over time if you don't use them a lot. So yet it always holds a vast amount of semantic knowledge. So when we talk about sentences, the focus shifts to productivity. Unlike the occasional creation of new words, we frequently craft new sentences. This ability to generate and understand novel sentences, as highlighted by Chomsky, it is crucial. It is made possible by recursive rules in syntax that allow for an infinite combination of sentences from a limited set of words. So, to illustrate with a fresh example, consider the word light. So, as a noun, it can mean a source of illumination. As a verb, it can mean to ignite something. But in sentences, its meaning expands. Okay? The light is bright. Or light the candle. Here it's a verb. Before it was a noun. So here syntax plays a role in understanding the function and meaning of the word light. Okay? So sometimes a sentence meaning is determined by the meanings of its individual words and how they are put together. For instance, Snowy Peaks Challenge Climbers combines the meanings of snowy peaks and challenge to convey a complete idea. Okay? Lastly, we're going to talk about a discussion about how these two levels of meaning, words and sentence, how they are integrated within a grammatical framework to create this rich tapestry of language we use every day. So, fundamental ideas that underpin many theories of semantics, it acknowledges that these concepts might initially be presented in somewhat simplified and vague form, but the intention is to clarify and expand on them as our playlist progresses. This section would typically introduce and discuss the concepts of reference and sense, the distinction between utterances, sentences, and prepositions, as well as the nuances of literal and non-literal meaning. We might also touch on the relationship between semantics and pragmatics later on, highlighting how each plays a role in our understanding of language and meaning. So that would be it for today's introductory video about semantics. If you have specific points you'd like me to cover, tell me in the comments below or just message me on the Facebook page. If you have any kind of question, again, please ask me in the comments below or the Facebook page as well. Otherwise, I'll tell you, see you in the next video. Peace.